Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, using your muscles to control things, video transfer gets gnarly, and an interview with Justin Robert Young from Nerdtacular 2015. Find out if you have what it takes to be the contender. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find cool projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I am one half of the show, Ktdata, and joining me is a man who only drinks top shelf rum, the one and only Drew Tyler. How you doing today, Drew?
One time I tweet myself with 2 giant bottles of rum. I'm making vanilla. That's what I'm doing.
Sure.
And in less than a day, they'll both be gone.
See, I'd only believe it if you just started a project that was Night 20's vanilla extracts business.
Yep. Oh my! You ought to get one of our bottles this year. We make a mean vanilla, me and the peach.
Am I supposed to chug it or do I put it into food?
No. It's a very much a gourmet little bits at a time. We still have people that will Facebook us and say, "I'm almost out of vanilla," and we gave it out like 2 years ago, like little bottles. It's a precious commodity.
I'm not civilized enough to know what to do with it. That's why I'm like, do I chug this? All right.
It's funny. It's funny how many of our LDS friends don't know that vanilla is made out of liquid vodka or rum. Like, they don't even know that. And so when they're like, wait, how did you make this? And we tell them, they're like, yeah, been cooking with it forever. Into the show.
All right. So if it is your first time watching the show, first of all, welcome to the show. On there, before we go into our projects, and we have a interview. We haven't done an interview in a while on there. That's fresh from Nerdtacular. So fresh that it almost is still alive on there. About a project that we're gonna have up. But before we go into any of that, we're going into some news, Drew. And this week is actually pretty heavy on Indiegogo. So Indiegogo announced a brand new collaboration with this website called Amazon.com. You ever heard of them?
I've not heard of these people, but they must be important.
Yep. So what Indiegogo now is doing is they've partnered with Amazon's Launchpad service, and their Launchpad service is kind of almost a front page storefront for Amazon where they list things that are cool. So what they're doing with Launchpad is that any fully funded Indiegogo campaigns that are ready to ship out are eligible to be featured on the Amazon Launchpad storefront. They have a specific Indiegogo section, and you can actually click on there and go get them right there, and it gets delivered. I was looking through all of this. The one that I remember is our friends at Flick. Their button is actually already ready to go on Amazon storefront.
Fantastic. We talked to them at CES. That's the Bluetooth button that you can program to do just about anything.
See the button on the screen right here, and the Pavlok is on here. You guys thought I was crazy about wanting one of these, but I think it works, and Amazon thinks too. So what do you think about this? Is this another way where Indiegogo is trying to separate themselves from Kickstarter by helping project creators even further after? I mean, because after Kickstarter's over, Kickstarter's like, hey, we're done. But Indiegogo seems to be, putting out tools trying to get people to still use Indiegogo after the fact.
That's what I'm wondering. Is that if that's what Indiegogo is doing, or Kickstarter? If you remember, they recently changed to when a project was funded, you change the page and look at the page to be almost like a storefront to push back to the website and then see the timeline. And I wonder if Indiegogo's kind of also doing a similar thing, although this one does seem to be a little bit more front-facing. Hey, this product is legit, it's viable, it's come and get it. So for them, it's great marketing. As much as we've been playing in crowdfunding for many years, I think this is a fantastic way to introduce even more people to the idea of crowdfunding. So this is a great intersection for these projects.
So that may be something to consider between Kickstarter and Indiegogo. I still personally lean towards Kickstarter for projects versus Indiegogo. On there, considering that I've gotten 2 things delivered on my entire.
That's true. Indiegogo does not have a very good track record of actual deliverables. But maybe that's what this front page for the Launchpad is doing, is offering a little bit more of a verification. This is legit, it's ready to go, and you'll get it.
Yeah. on there. So, and then another thing on Indiegogo, they actually brought up a good point, and I think this applies to more than just Indiegogo, is using crowdfunding as kind of a validation market
Right.
on there. So this is something that is not new, but I don't think gets enough coverage because people, this. I think this is where crowdfunding actually makes a mark, saying that we're not a store because you can actually use it in this way. So Indiegogo suggesting if you have a product, but if you don't know if it's valid or not, why not try launching a crowdfunding project and see if you can find those people who are interested in this and are willing to throw up some money. And this is a guest post from GE and their kind of first build system where they actually use Indiegogo for a a
Induction.
market test, like for their induction
Interesting.
cooktop on here. That was just an idea, and they weren't sure if people really wanted it, so they actually put it on there, and I think the campaign was very successful. They got a lot of feedback from the community, which is something that you do get very well in the world of crowdfunding, and I think that's one of the key things is getting feedback from your backers because some of them do have great ideas, and just taking an idea and developing on it. This does draw the fine line between having a product ready to go and having it be a pipe dream
Right.
um,
Right.
on there. So you kind of got to balance that a little bit. But what do you think about this? Is are crowdfunding websites a place where you should do market validation, or are you kind of more in the camp where you're like we should have the product more developed and ready to go?
I definitely think product validation is a fine way to use a crowdfunding. You have something, you're ready to make a bunch of them, but you want to make sure that they're going to sell or it's going to be worth your time to scale up. So I think crowdfunding is a great way to validate that. It is on that close line to like the pre-sales type of thing, and that's I guess maybe that's just a matter of attitude. Like, okay, I've got a great project here, a great item. I know it's going to do really well, so let's sell a bunch of them and then make them. Versus, I've got a great idea, I've got a great project. Let's put it out there and see how many people really want what I've made. So I think you're right. There's a fine line there. I'm all about that product validation. I think this is a great place to do it. You have a lot of resources. It also will test your metal, and this is what I think is missing on a lot of crowdfunding projects that you and I look at. This will test your metal to see if you have what it takes to market your product. Because you can't just throw it on here and say, oh, hey, people, did you see that? You've got to get out there and like hit the pavement and actually send people over to look at the information, right? So you have to have some traction going, as we talk about all the time. And so I think that's part of that product validation. That'll show you whether or not you have the chutzpah to actually get your project out there and in front of people.
Yeah, and that's what the interesting thing is. That I do see. I mean, if you look, Veronica Mars, that was entirely market validation.
Yes,
Because
yes,
your crowdfunding money was not the only thing that got put into making that movie. Because Warner
right.
Brothers paid they picked up the rest of the bill on there, but they couldn't do it without that. So, I think in the right cases it works. If such as a movie or something, or like the the Shenmue Kickstarter, they're getting
Same thing,
money
right?
from other sources too, but
Right.
they needed to prove it because it's been 10 years and I think they've been struggling to get a new game published, and people are like, well, people don't want a new game of this, and then they come to Kickstarter and just totally kill it,
Right,
totally kill
right.
it.
Prove to the skeptics that this is what people want. We're doing it.
Yeah. So I think it's a good place, but you gotta play that fine line and be careful. And one of the things that you should be is transparent with your backers. You can
Hmm.
tell them, hey, this is a concept. It may or may not come true, and we're testing the waters to see if anybody actually wants this or not. So if you want it, put your money where your mouth is.
I think that's key. I think transparency is key for sure.
On there. All right. So our last piece that's in the news. So Drew, did you ever hear about the Exploding Kittens Kickstarter?
Yes, I believe we talked extensively about that card game that just went crazy. It was like over $8 million in backing.
Yeah,
Is that
so
right?
yeah, they got $8.8 million
Oh,
on there, and um, starting from last week, people started getting their copies of Exploding Kittens. So
I,
of course,
I I'm interested to play. I saw the article with a bunch of the cards, and I thought that could be a fun game.
Yeah. So CNN actually interviewed the the game's creator Elon Lee, and this is the greatest quote that he put in there. The biggest lesson for me is that Kickstarter is a terrible place to raise money. On that, and
That's funny.
which seems odd because they got $8.8 million.
The most money, right? I mean, they are one of the highest backed projects up in the top 10. Yeah,
and they have 219,382 backers on that. That seems like it, seems really odd. But he kind of breaks it down. That they initially only wanted to order 500 cards for their initial run. Now they're up to 700,000.
yeah.
So
Wow.
this is where the fulfillment logistics just becomes a nightmare for them, because they're like, instead of, they were planning on just filling everything and getting everything fulfilled in his garage. Now he has 6 fulfillment centers, 3 in the US, 1 in Canada, the UK, and Australia. There's a massive print production in China and 17 cargo containers. So those big containers are getting shipped to fulfill orders, and we have 800 people working on this project.
That's insane. So that makes sense when he says it's not to raise money, because he came up with a great idea which raised a lot of money, but whether it was a matter of scaling or the math or whatever happened, he's probably not making that much profit now that he's got a company with 100 people working for him.
So it's kind of a word of warning is, well, actually I asked you, so can you get too popular? Is what's a good sweet spot for your projects? And should you kind of aim for that? Or do you expect it to blow it out of the park?
That's a great question, because if you expect to blow it out of the park, you've got to you want to make some sort of margin in there so that it's not extra painful to scale. And I think we've heard that on a couple of projects where they had so much success early on that there was just the scaling became like, oh no, what do I do? How do I do this? I'm not ready for this. So if you plan on knocking out of the park, what do you do to make it worth your while, I guess, to build it? And at the same time, I don't know, there's probably so many projects that get launched by people who just think, I'm going to blow this up. It's going to be so amazing. And then when they get like 3 backers, they're like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, there's probably ego to play there, I think, on both sides. But what was the one project that we did that somebody said, you know what? We're not going we're not doing stretch goals. This is it.
A shoe company, I think.
I was like, this is all we want to do, and we're happy. We're going to hit this and be great. And for them, that was like enough word of mouth, enough traction to get them up, running, and established. And you and I talk a lot about projects that are tech and reward based, like the actual tangible things. But honestly, on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, there are a lot of, and Patreon too, there are a lot of projects that are a film, or, you know what I mean, like where distribution and scalability is a different. It's a different game, because you can make a movie and somebody, hundreds of thousands of people back it. It's easier to distribute that than it is if you have cards to ship everywhere. So there are some things to take into consideration there.
Yep. Yeah. So consider what happens if you go too far on one end or go too far on the other end. It's kind of good to kind of plan for that. So that's our news today, and let's get into our first project. So, Drew, you like controlling things. We've seen voice control. We've seen.
Oh, right. Because that's different controlling things. Yes, I like telling people what to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, there's voice control, using lips, using your hands to control things,
or threatening to take away the iPad. I mean, I control all day long
on there. So, how about this? Have you ever thought of kind of controlling your devices using your muscles? And I mean, and I don't mean like actually touching it. Yeah, manipulating the device.
But muscle control. No. I mean, I figured you got your Bluetooth. You've got we've talked about a lot of eye control, eye tracking, and eye control, and the brain waves that make the ears wiggle. Like a little bit of that, but I don't know if I've seen a muscle one.
So our first project is called, I think it's called Ktdata Power, on there, and it is actually a biosensing gesture control sensor. So it's a sensor that you actually stick on your arm, and what it does, it uses electromyography, so the electricity that is set off when your muscles move, and it allows you to control things. And since your muscles release a different kind of signal depending on the gesture you're moving and everything, you can actually use that as a hands-free control system on there. And some of the applications they've kind of put on there is they're trying to develop this boxing game where you can actually just stick it in an arm and you're boxing and it can detect how you're moving on there. And then so other things they've kind of been developing is like car racing, so you could just move your hands left and right.
Look
Like
at
in the
that thing that's
motion.
just on his arm. It looks like it's embedded, like they surgically
Yeah.
attached it to his arm. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Like
or
instead of wearing it or putting it somewhere, it looks like it's just a sticky patch.
yeah, it's like it literally just sticks onto your skin. Other things were, maybe hook it up to your GoPro record button so you can just do a specific
Like
gesture and your GoPro will start recording. Yeah. Then you don't have to like struggle to yeah on there. And of course it can work as a personal trainer because it's detecting your muscle movements, so it can kind of tell you what it does on there. So
This is an interesting idea. I find this very intriguing. I'm not sure I'm sold. Is there anything out there that uses this electromyography currently?
well, right now I don't think so. Mostly it's for medical tracking and stuff. So they're kind of taking this idea to a next step of trying to get it to work where you can use it as a control system, and I can see the potential in this.
Right.
The thing that worries me a little bit is they don't really have a solid application on what to do with this. They throw out these ideas, and I think some of their stretch goals saying that we'll kind of go forward to it. But I
Right. We'll
see
make an app. We'll do something down the road. But you're right.
I see this kind of almost like to our news story about market validation is they're putting out this out there to kind of see if it's feasible and people would want this on there. And the closest project that actually reminds me to this is the Oculus Kickstarter when they first launched, where they were looking for developers and stuff. Because one of the things they mentioned
Right.
is their development platform on Android and iOS and web.
It does say Android, yeah.
On there, yeah. I see. I'm reading it exactly how it says there. On there, so they're kind of talking about stuff as my studio falls apart. On there, about what they can do. So, one of the things is they're trying to do is make it work with Oculus, so it's kind of more into the world. So that actually might help. So you don't have to be on a giant like sensor treadmill and things like that. But I don't know. Like, does this motion sensing seem like something you would want to do? Stick a sensor on your arm and move your arm in different ways and
That's a
manipulate things.
good question. Because I'm thinking of like use cases, where and when I would use it. And you're right, they don't seem to have like actual like software attached or a specific thing. But like you mentioned, that it could just be that they're saying, here's the opportunity to control with this myography. We want developers to put it into their things, much like the Oculus. Like we want you to use it. It looks funky. It looks futuristic to stick that thing on your arm. The fact that it holds like a gyroscope and it looks cool, and you just stick it on with a sticker. I like it as an idea. I think it's fun. I almost kind of want to see it in action. They've got a lot of glossy stuff with this. I don't know that I see enough action. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a concept still to me. I'm not sure I've seen enough in the project to see that they actually can pull off what they think they can. Do you get that sense, or
Yeah, I get that sense, and that's why for this one I actually listed it as a back. I think it's a really, really cool idea on there, and the way the project's presented, it seems like it's already a polished, finished product, while it's
presented that way.
closer to development kit level on there, and that's why I really struggle saying that you should back it. It seems more of a track, and just to see where they're going and see if anybody else is interested in this, because it seems like a nice application, but I just don't see any solid tangibles of actual things you can do with it. So, if you're not a programmer, you're not planning on making this work with an Oculus Rift, I can't see this being really a good project to get behind yet. Maybe in their next generation when they have something more fleshed out.
Right. Okay. And there's something about this project, just little things. Everything seems to be very glossy and very polished, except for there are a few misspellings in the graphics. Like the word souvenir is misspelled. Android was misspelled.
Granted, they're based in China.
It's true.
English isn't their first language.
But everything is written really well, right? Everything, even then, usually you can see some broken English and stuff, but this is all laid out quite well in English. But there is one spot where they actually mention the watch, and yet there's no real.
There's no other mention of it anywhere else.
Yeah, except for in one of the graphics, it shows a picture of a watch, which you know what I mean? It's almost like they might be running too fast. I don't know. So for me, it's a track. I'll watch where it goes, but I'm not interested in developing biosensing gesture powered quite yet.
Especially when it's a flexible funding too. It's not even fixed funding, so they get their money no matter what.
Right. I'm going to follow this one. I really want to see where they go over the next 30 days to see how they pull this in. But for me, it's a track.
All right. So this next project, I think it gets near and dear to both of your and my hearts, especially when we're out filming in the field. The question is, how are we going to edit this? You do the insane by carrying around a 17-inch MacBook Pro.
Yes, I do.
And I usually just wait until after the event to edit stuff on there. So kind of introduce our next project and see this might be our solution.
This might be the answer. So, like you said, I do a lot of run and gun on a lot of gigs. So I'll pack my backpack and make sure that I have laptop, external hard drives, card readers, all kinds of cables with me with my camera, whether that's DSLR or a camcorder. It's all with me, and I run around and I shoot. And as soon as I get a chance, I sit down and I cut something together and send it off. Or in the hotel room, I have all this stuff. The project that I am blown away by today is the Gnar box. And I'm assuming that's Gnar as in Gnar, Gnarly? The Gnarly box, maybe? But check out the Gnar box. This is a thing that will let you edit and share HD footage, up to 4K footage in seconds without a laptop. What I'm gathering here is that they've taken this box and they put this kind of mini PC in this really small form factor. It's about the size of a phone. It's fully waterproof. It's submersible. It's dust proof. Like this is like perfect to go with your GoPro or your action cam. The guys that put this together are very much into the sports. They wanted a way to manage all of the HD videos and the photos that they took quicker and easier. If you think about it, you're up on a mountain and you're snowboarding for the day and you've got a whole bunch of cool shots of your buddy. And you did it all on a DJI Phantom, or you did it all on your phones. You gotta have a way to share that back with everybody that was there, or you take it home and you edit it or something. So this Gnar box lets you ingest all of that, all of the photos, and then it uses its own Wi-Fi to push that information, all those photos and all the content to your phone. So it's 128 gigs. It'll hold 128 gigs. It'll have 2 USBs to take the footage in. USB 3, and also take micro SD or SD cards in. So you just plug them in, they suck right into the hard drive as fast as can be, and then it just will broadcast or Wi-Fi that thing right to your phone. So you can jump on your phone then and use that app to view everything that's sitting on the Gnar box. Up to like 4 devices, I think, can connect to it. So all 4 buddies can get on there with the Gnar box app and start looking at all of the photos, all the videos that you just shot, and stream it back to your phone like in full res, full 4K or raw photos. You're just looking at them right there in front of you. You and 3 other people doing this at the same time. That's not the end of it. I'm blown away. Are you blown away yet? There's more. Was that too stealthy?
I don't know. What's more on there?
So there's more. Well, on top of that, they have built into their app editability. So you can adjust your contrast, your peaks, your saturation, and things on photos right away, and then share them to your socials. Or you can edit footage and trim heads and tails, and put slow-mo in the middle of it, and do a little bit of editing right there on the shot, and then share that out to YouTube or drop it in your Dropbox. I mean, imagine if I was out there doing an interview, running around a Comic-Con doing an interview, and I took an interview with one of the big guys, and instead of waiting till I got to the hotel, I just put that on my Gnar box, popped the card in there, pushed it to my phone or even a hotspot, and put that in my Dropbox. Somebody back at the office could have that within 10 minutes after I was done with the interview, and they would have everything that I just shot full res. That's pretty awesome. I think that's a fantastic solution to a problem that I've been struggling with, just carrying so much crap. That would be so easy. That would save my back. So for me, it's a definite back. I just love that they put this all into a very rugged. It's a mini computer, but it's got one purpose, and that one purpose is sharing the video that you shoot and high res video at that. So what do you think?
I don't know.
This is big.
Is this iOS only on there? Because I've seen iPhones on all the
Yeah,
pictures.
I do not think so. I think it's a. Oh, you know what? I mean, check this. They had the iOS app built, and they're going to begin the Android following the successful Kickstarter. So,
All right, so yeah, it's
coming.
platform agnostic on here. I'd really be interested to see how well this works, especially with the 4K footage on there and how fast that actually uploads through Dropbox and to your other systems. I mean, because 7-minute
Right.
files, like a 10-minute file, is almost 1 gig already,
Right.
in 4K on there. But I do like the idea, the accessibility on here. And is it the full size USB ports, or is it or can you like stick your card straight into it?
No, I think
Oh,
I
you can,
think that's full
yeah,
size.
yeah, you can stick your card into it. So on there, I do like this idea. Because you see these kind of SD card reader Wi-Fi adapters on the market already, but their software's kind of crummy on there. I mean, I've helped beta test stuff before, and it just was not that great on there. So this is a great idea on there. And
I'm interested to see. I would love to
Yeah.
beta test this. So if you
Yeah.
think about it, this is kind of an extension of those MiFi cards that came out for many years. So it was like you pop in your camera and it's gonna share it right away. This is like the beefy version of that. You just pop your card into this thing and it just gives it to
Yeah.
you.
And yeah, I'd love to kind of see how, like, because can you sync external audio into it or not, or are you just using on-camera stuff?
That's a good question. Right now, I think it's on camera stuff. I wonder if they would be adding that, because it would be nice to be able
Yeah.
to take both of your files. If you threw in this card and
then
that
had
card
it synced up together on there.
and a match.
Yeah, that or I
wonder if
could
that
just stop being cheap and hire a second person who'd sit on Dropbox to sync them manually on the other side.
There
right?
you go. There you go. That's
Right,
all you need.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love how compact it is, because I do know how heavy things get. I mean, just carrying my camera around on a set of tripods is already heavy. Then
Right.
you got another box of stuff following you. So for me, it's a back too, because I like it. There's no interface too, which is I love. You just stick your
Right.
card in it and it sucks it in automatically, which is great on there. So yeah, I think it's back, and it seems like they're fully polished, and they're just needing to get their minimum order, which they've already surpassed.
Yeah, they've already hit their goal. I'm with you. What I love about it is I wouldn't say it's a one-trick pony, but the fact that it's beefy, it's powerful, and it's ready to do exactly what it needs to do. They've already gone past a couple of their initial early birds, $99, $129. So they're up to $149, and the MSRP is going to be $249. So it's $100 off at this point in the project, where we can say it is kind of pre-sale now because it's funded and it's going to happen. I love the Narbox. I think that they're solving a great problem, and it seems to be geared towards action sports with the ruggedness of everything, the durability. But I think it would work well for students as well, because they get pretty rough.
Yep, on there.
So I'm in. It's a back for me.
Yep. So it's a double back from us, and now this is what you guys have been waiting for.
Dun, dun, dun.
I am fresh back from Nerdtacular 2015, and while I was there, a Kickstarter project launched by Justin Robert Young of Night Attack, Jury Show. He's all over the internet on there, and I got a chance to talk to him about the Contender. So let's the tape take it away. All right, guys, we are here at Nerdtacular 2015. I am here with, I gotta say, you're one of my heroes.
Oh, stop it.
Justin
You're making
Robert
me blush.
Especially after yesterday. You've killed it on multiple levels. You did an amazing one-man show, and you're 1/4 of a team that did a Kickstarter that just killed it on its first day.
Oh, my God, yeah. The least talented part of the team that killed it.
On there. So tell everybody a little bit about the Contender.
All right, so the Contender was an idea that initially me and my buddy John Teasdale, who has done a lot of amazing card games before this, we just had an idea. We want to do a game that, for us, like our use case is, you're having a party, people are coming over, you're going to play some tabletop games, but there's always that awkward moment before everybody shows up where it's like not everyone's there. You want a game that doesn't lock you into like an hour-long thing, and you don't want you want to be flexible in terms somebody can jump in, somebody can jump out. and we just wanted a really fun social game. So of course what we came up with was something very ridiculous and complicated, and so we had to go to our friends at Guts and Glory, who are amazing designers, and are really, it's like, to call them designers is really like kind of almost selling them short, because they're great creative minds and they were amazing partners, and we developed what is essentially the log line, the easy log line is Cards Against Humanity with politics, right? But it's a little bit more. It's more of a simulation of like an actual debate, So you have a hand of cards, you have a topic, and you go around in the circle, and you can play 1, 2, or 3 cards until you have played 3 cards, and then the round's over. You are constructing your best argument that you can to meet the topic, and then at the end, the moderator finds out who had the best topic. It's really, really fun. I've been so happy, like in the response to the playtesting, and I couldn't have dreamed a better reaction to the Kickstarter yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, like, you funded in probably 16 hours.
Something like that,
Not even
yeah.
a full day on there. That's amazing. And your reaction, I gotta say, I really think every crowdfunder, does that when they fund. But you did it right, during your show, which was amazing.
Yeah, I took my shirt off, and I threw it around, and I kicked open the door to the room we were in and yelled at the sign-in people at the front, and it was great.
So did you know it was going to blow up this quickly, or
No.
what are your plans?
No. I mean, in probably our most aggressive projections, we thought about funding in maybe a week, something like that. I think we knew that we would have a good boost because we launched early because of Nerdtacular, and knowing that this is a huge supportive crowd that would be, qualified and into it and loves tabletop games. We knew that we would have a good step forward, right? We did not know that we would get the kind of traction that we did, and Kickstarter itself wound up getting behind it. I think that's what put us over yesterday was Kickstarter tweeting us out. And it puts us in a really good position because now Monday really begins kind of the ad or the press blitz for it. So we'll see what coverage we can get from there.
So I got to ask you, what's next since you've reached your goals, or what are you looking for the rest of the project?
Oh, man, no, we have a million. I mean, what we created about a 400 card deck. We have about 100 in the deck that we have sold now. But the more we unlock, the bigger that deck's going to get, and we hope to use literally everything, and if not, we'll just carve them out for expansions and stuff like that. But no, we're really, the fact that we funded now just really opens up a lot of amazing opportunities for all the backers and for us, in that we're going to be covering all these debates as they happen. We have this Thursday. We have the first Republican presidential debate, which is going to be a double header, by the way. They have a 5 o'clock debate and then a 9 o'clock debate. It's going to be insane. We're going to do a live stream for all that. And then we make expansion decks based on that. We make expansion decks based on other stuff that we've done. We have topic expansions. We have candidate expansions. And then the base deck continues to get bigger and bigger. Hopefully by the end of our Kickstarter run, we've exhausted not only everything that we have done now, but we're forced to kind of do more because we got more ideas and we're ready to roll.
I love it. So the card game was already done when you launched your Kickstarter, right?
We didn't want to. I mean, I back a lot of Kickstarters. Mm-hmm. I love a Kickstarter. I get very frustrated when it's just the Kickstarter for professional production delay updates. Yeah. So we, as people who love Kickstarters and love supporting them, we wanted to be a responsible campaign, and we wanted to finish basically everything that we could before we launched, just so we weren't BSing in the video. It's done. We just need to find out how many we need to print.
And then the other thing I love is your tier levels. You made it straight, simple, sweet, just basic 3 different tiers on there, and you're like, all right, this is all we got right here.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make it complicated. So did you have a discussion on how you're going to do that, or did you just?
You want to know what? And really, Exploding Kittens, which was gigantic, obviously, and succeeded for a million different reasons. But I think it's to sell it short, to just say that it was Matthew Inman's fame with the oatmeal, because they had maybe the cleanest, most well-run Kickstarter I think I've ever seen. And a lot of it was that, they just had a few dead-ass simple options. And so you could buy it easy. You didn't have to think about like, oh, do I want to back at this 120 reward level or this 125 reward level? Like, it was just, and for us, it was a family-friendly deck, a deck with curse word expansion, and then like the baller edition $150 pack. And we'll do more. We'll expand. I think we have a $500 thing that we'll put out there in case anybody wants it. And then we'll do. I think we'll do a few limited edition. Like we've been talking with Scott about doing maybe like a limited edition Frog Pants thing that with some art that he's making for us. But other than that, like that'll be something that'll likely come and go immediately. And it won't be kind of a permanent. For the permanent stuff, we just wanted to make it super simple.
All right, Justin, thank you for taking some time. I appreciate it, dude. You killed it.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
go check out the Contender. I've already
thecontender.us is the website. Find us facebook.com Contender Game, twitter.com Contender Game, Instagram Contender Game. We will be updating and harassing candidates for the rest of the month, and hopefully the rest of forever.
Yep, I love it. I've already backed the baller edition because I got to get on that bam on there. So
absolutely.
Make sure you guys go and check it out. It's amazing, and then I can't wait. Nerdtacular 2016. Let's see copies in the real life.
Oh no, absolutely. It'll be out.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
All right, again, big thanks to Justin Robert Young. I know he's a busy man, like all the producers are during Nerdtacular, so I appreciate that he could just take some time to talk to us.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Like I said in the video, you guys need to go back the Contender. This game is going to be big, and I am all in on it, and I'm excited to kind of see where they go with it because the debates actually are going to be pretty soon. This week, the week that we're recording, there's going to be Republican debates. And
it's gonna be a sideshow. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, he's waiting to get some more material so he can even make more cards and expansions for it. So I love it. All right, so normally it would be done, but of course we've added these new sections to the show. We're at
People love them.
The Sack of the Week.
There's plenty to choose from, of course, but these are gold.
So yeah, this is a great one. On there, so. I after I saw this one, I actually thought, it kind of looked cool until I started reading through it, and I'm a little iffy about it. So, I love the title of it though, and I think you love the title of it too. Is custom woodworking, pick above is a unfinished table. I made a unfinished table.
A unfinished table I made.
On there, and it kind of looks like a checkerboard table. But
yeah, it's got a nice design to it. I think it's designed. It's like a marble inlaid with a really nice wood outside. It's nice.
Yeah, and so his goal is to create custom wood furniture, and he'd like to start projects aimed towards his daughter, but he lacks the tools needed and editing.
And editing, right? Like, what are you're making wood furniture aimed towards your daughter?
Like
that
a
just
new
seems
bed.
fake.
Yeah.
Like a nightstand.
So, but he like to expand works to such as cutting boards, end tables, coffee tables, and work his way up. And I don't know about you. I'm not that handy of a person, but isn't a cutting board a little bit easier to make than say a new bed?
Yes. I would have to say cutting boards could be pretty easy with the right tools, right? I mean, I've not made a bed. I've made some wood stuff. I made a mantle. I've made some piano benches. I'm about to make a table. I was telling you, I'm about to make a full kitchen table, but he's gonna work his way up. I hope he gets there.
Yeah.
There's some interesting things about this project, like you were pointing out, that make it this sack of the week. What are some things that stood out to you?
The fact that there's only 2 levels. You can either get photos of the project and a thank you card.
For $1.
For $1, which I think 30 cents per dollar. He's only making 30 cents per dollar. Or you could donate 2,000, and there's only one of these. We'll get a handmade piece of furniture of his design and a thank you card.
A handmade piece of furniture for $2,000. I'm hoping to build an entire kitchen table for under $200 this week. This to me is a little out. and there's only one available. Yet his goal is $5,000. So if he finds the one backer for 2,000, he needs to find 3,000 other single
Yeah.
hey, send me a picture of your wood. Woodworking.
Yeah.
I think that's what this is all about. It's
yeah.
a code.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I gotta say, this is not that impressive.
It's pretty marble. The inlay looks really pretty.
On there.
But
you know, and come on, again, proofread. Have somebody proofread. You don't. You
Someone
don't
hasn't
start.
thought out.
You don't start sentences with ands and buts.
It's true. It's true.
And a little bit more detail about your actual project. I mean, because you've given us one sample, and that's pretty much it.
And it's unfinished, and we expect that you're going to be able to finish a project for us.
Yeah.
I think we see more of these each week. We find these projects that just aren't quite thought out. It's like somebody just wants to get in there and say, "Oh, I'll try Kickstarter. Everybody else is doing it."
Yeah, and not really understand what you need to do for a Kickstarter on there. So
right.
This is why this is the sack of the week.
Sorry, Ben. Sorry.
All right, Drew. We've reached the end of the show on there. So if you guys have any suggestion for projects, for sacks of the weeks, for regular projects, or you want to be on the show, shoot us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net, or give us a message on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast. And we have actually reached 100 likes. So within the next few days, I will be announcing the details of the contest on our Facebook page. Duh.
Yes.
On how you can actually win some fabulous prizes from us, which include Andrew Allen CDs and do the moon books.
Fantastic. I love those.
With activity things on there. You could win one of those on there, so pay attention to our Facebook page. Of course, you can also tweet us. We love the tweeter, at KickCast for the show, at Night20 for that beautiful man over there.
Yeah.
And at Ktdata for me. If you want vanilla secrets, do not tweet me. Tweet.
I know all about vanilla, Bacardi rum, white rum, and vanilla beans from Amazon.
On there. And of course, we love it when you guys come watch live. We actually recorded a little bit later tonight because I was still doing some post Nerdtacular celebrations on there.
It's Nerdtacular hangovers, what that is.
Yeah. Our next show is August 18th, 2015, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time.
That's nearly fall. I'm worried.
Oh.
I'm trying to enjoy my summer and make it last.
Are the drones of Professor Tyler just creeping up on you?
Yes.
When are your office hours?
Yeah,
why didn't I get an
even
A on
think
this?
about that. No. I've got 3 weeks. I can do this. I'm going to be okay.
You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it on there. You got anything plugged before we go? Did you get your mind off the dread?
Yeah, I'm making a table this week. That's what I'm excited. I have a buddy of mine who's very skilled with both photography and videography. Is actually very skilled with woodworking. And so I showed him a picture, and he was like, "Yeah, come on over. Let's make it. The wife's out of town. You and I, music, food. Let's make a table." And I'm like, "Yes, that's what I need for summer." So I will have to show you pictures next time we get together.
Yeah, see, that's what you got to do. Launch a Kickstarter for a table vanilla making business.
Yes, yes, and everybody can back me for $2,000 one tier.
Yeah, perfect on there. All right, guys, we hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Subscribe if you love us.